Okay, so we've done the shorts and the gloves, and now we're ready to do the next major part with the blue colour, which is the stripe, which goes all the way around across the shoulders and down the arms. So I'm going to use this other previously painted one as a guide as to where to start my stripe. So as you can see, here's the same right-handed shot. If I was doing a left-handed shot, I'd use one of the other ones as a guide. So I look at that and I see it's roughly across just underneath that collar of the mould. So that's where I'm going to start, just to get my line. And I'm just going to do the line, and like we did with the shorts and the gloves, we do the line, then fill it in. So starting underneath there, just work my way across very carefully. And you just look at a point on the shoulder where you want to get to. So I know that it's roughly around here, so I'm going to work my way back from there then. And then from that point, I'm going to look at the point on the elbow where I'm going to start curving around. So if I make a point roughly here on the elbow, it's just a matter of joining that line to that dot. And then we'll start getting our shape from there. And the good thing about it is, if you make a mistake, it's easily fixed. Because you can either do it, if you're too short, as in you haven't covered enough room with the navy colour, you can just go over that line a little bit and make it to where you want it to go. Or if you go too far, when it dries and you start doing all this area white, you can just take off a little bit of that blue. Right, so I've found that point on the elbow, and now I'm going to look at that point where it joins the glove down here and just make, let's get a little bit more paint, and just make a little mark. So I'm going to join up, curve it round and join that point there. And just come over here, Lex, and just, so you can see I've got a little bit of paint excess still on my toothpick. I'm just going to wipe that off because you don't want any excess paint. And you can see how many times I've done that in the course of painting all these figures, lots of times. So made my point. Now I'm going to work my way up to that elbow. Take your time with it, no need to rush. And getting close now to joining up. I'll just tidy that line up a little bit, it's a little bit wonky. But you get the idea. Alright, so I've kind of done half of the front. I'll go ahead and I'll do the rest of this. So I've gone ahead and I've finished off doing the outline of where I'm going to be painting inside. You can see the front, it was the two lines when they came around together, they were very close. So I ended up painting a little bit more with the toothpick than where I will be otherwise doing it with the paintbrush. So you can determine that yourself. Where it's a little bit tighter, or the paintbrush might be a little bit too bulky, just use your toothpick. So essentially I've just freshened up that paint, shaken it up again, got a new batch on my lid, and now I'm just going to paint in with that paintbrush. Right, so where we left it before, I'd finished the shorts and the stripe on the sleeve down the arms and across the shoulder. I went ahead and just did the black on the skates and the first part of the white in the socks. So I'm just going to show you how I did that, the sock part, using the white. And I think I mentioned earlier about doing the top and the bottom as one of the final things to paint. You can do the skates. I like to do them in that order after I've done the major parts on the body, but I leave the bottom clean. I think you'll find that on the stock items they're all black all over, and you can sometimes have paint inside the little slot that you go over the pegs on the game, and they can get a bit sticky sometimes. So I figured don't even bother painting them, and you don't need them. And once that's dry, you can then maintain your top and bottom holding position. So yeah, I've painted this sock white. You can kind of see the difference between the plastic white and the paint white. and I'm just going to go ahead and paint this other sock. So this is the time where you can paint over the dried shorts or boot if you've made a mistake with that. So you can see just in there's a little bit of carryover of the blue onto the sock. So I'm just going to start there and work my way over the top of it and around. And like all the other parts, I do the outline first. Hardest part's probably getting in between the two legs there, and then just follow it through. Alright, so I've gone around the outline outside edge of each part of the sock, so just above the skate and just below the shorts, and now I'm just going to fill in with a brush. Now the brushes that I'm using, I've been using these brushes for all the different figurines that I've done already for the Winnipeg Jets. So the white brush I've stayed white, the blue and the black, which are the main colours on the figurine, I've kept as the same brush. And so I'm not going to clean those brushes till I'm done. So they've gone a bit hard, but I quite like that because you can really get good control. So there's no stray parts of the brush that might move into a different area you don't want to. Anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in. Alright, so last we finished up doing the white socks. So we've gone from the skates to the socks. Now before I do the rest of this upper body white, I'm just looking on the back and seeing that the light blue and then the navy blue and then the silver stripe would come before the white jersey. So rather than doing all white jersey and then doing the stripes, I'm going to do the stripes first. So I'm starting with the light blue. So I've shaken up my light blue paint. Obviously with a small area like this, you're just going to use your toothpick. And starting in the corner is always the best place to start. Trace along the line of the shorts. And as you go, you can make it a little bit higher, thicker, whatever you like to call it. As you can see here, I'm just going along there like that. Okay. Alright, so this light blue stripe is dried. Now the perfect thing about this is I've made a little bit of an error there, so I'll show you how I'm going to touch that up and fix it. But I'm going to go ahead and now use the navy paint to do the next stripe above that. It's a little bit thinner than the light blue one, so I'm going to start doing that. Alright, so I've completed that navy blue line across the top of the light blue. Now this little part of on the shorts where I've gone a little bit over with the light blue, I'm just going to touch that up now with the navy, just to make it all back to being perfect. So I'll just take a little bit of the navy blue paint, end of my toothpick, and then just work my way in toward the original line of the light blue. Don't need much paint at all. In fact, the less the better. Right, so we've finished the second stripe on the back of the jersey, the navy blue, and you can see that there is a third line, which is the silver. But I'm going to do the white first, just because this silver paint tends to take longest to dry, so I want to kind of do that toward the end. So we're going to go ahead and paint this jersey. Now at the top, I've noticed that this navy blue is a little bit thicker and wider than it is on the one I've already painted, so I'm going to take a little bit off that. So that's where I'm going to start. So obviously every step that I do, I've waited for the paint to dry, otherwise you wouldn't be able to do this. So I'm just going to go over that blue, just make a new line, push it around, and like the other parts of the figure, I'm going to go around the outside perimeter first. Alright, so I've gone and filled in the rest of the back of the jersey with the white, so you can see where I've tidied up the top navy stripe across the back. Just took a little bit off it was a little bit too far down the back of the jersey, and also tidied up just the edges here of the stripes. So now I'm going to go to the front and do a similar thing across the top, just a little bit too much navy blue across there, so I'm just going to do that and then go around the outside edges and then fill it in again. But I'll just show you a little bit of paint and then just take off a little bit of that navy blue straight across.